Top of the hour, give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games, and that's what you do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Is several live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later, and to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us for today. All right, Chris Ruffolo is with us. It's Wednesdays with Mitch, Big Al McMordie, Rod Zawacky, Dan Lang will sign in bottom of the hour, and Wayne Scott. Here's how they'll line up for this evening. Got Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Scott, Zawacky, Lane, and then I will close this one out. A lot of day baseball. We got some games in the primetime hour. I think we got 9 games in Major League Baseball on this 15-game card in primetime. So let's get this one underway. Let's welcome in Chris Ruffolo. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Catch him in the morning show, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Weekends, 10 a.m. start, so make note of that. We'll bring Chris in right now. Thank him for filling in during my vacation on Thursday, Friday. We'll bring in Chris right now. Ready to roll with Chris. Chris, what's happening?
Tony, I tried to leave the butt groove as comfortable as possible. I try not to ruin it in the host chair, but no, it's always good to fill in for you. You need your time off as well, so always happy to fill in.
Appreciate that. Good shows with Chris there. Hope you can catch up the archives if you would. Tonight we're going Twins and Cardinals going head-to-head here at 7:45 Eastern Time. Twins favored with a total 8.5.
Yeah, and I kind of keyed in on this one because I caught a little bit of flack on the morning show about past comments about Joe Ryan, and well, some of those comments have now come back to bite me in the butt because the reality is that Joe Ryan has just not been pitching well in a lot of his recent starts, and any starts that he's really been making, they're few and far between the good ones. I mean, yeah, he did have a complete game shutout against the Red Sox back on June 22nd, but since then he's been giving up a ton of runs, and more importantly, he's been giving up a ton of home runs. He's given up 13 homers in his last 6 starts, just having a big problem keeping the ball in the yard. And that's a problem against the St. Louis Cardinals team that still has guys like Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar hitting righties as well for the most part as of late. And I think they're going to be able to score some runs here off of Joe Ryan and potentially do enough to win this game. Even from the starting pitching perspective, I think once the bullpen steps in, it's all going to be a foregone conclusion at that point. Dakota Hudson, not the ideal arm in this Cardinals rotation, but keep in mind Dakota Hudson at one point was considered to be like the number 3 guy in this rotation. I mean, last year 8-7, a 4.45 ERA, still very respectable. And the Minnesota Twins, while they have had some success here and there, they still strike out a ton against right-handed pitching. I think that's going to be the case here. I think this price is a little bit funky for if the Twins were so much of a better team here. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one at the plus money.
All right, Chris says Cardinals here plus 117, taking one of the sellers. And I was, that's got to be careful when some of these teams move players. Folks are quick. I was listening to somebody here on one of the networks that's talking about, they're sellers and they don't care about the rest of the season. Well, that's not the truth. There are players playing for contracts, and usually you get that feeling mostly in mid-September when teams have been eliminated.
Yeah, exactly. And let's face it, I think you and I have talked about it before when we talked about past games like this. Both central divisions in the American League and National League, yeah, they're, not as, better as like the AL East or AL West or vice versa, but they're still up for grabs. And while it seems improbable right now, and it probably is for the St. Louis Cardinals, they're still just 11 and a half games back with 2 months to play. Teams go through hot and cold stretches all the time. There's still talent in this Cardinals team. Will they make the comeback? Probably not, but you never say never. And this is a Cardinals team that's talented enough. We've seen them make late runs in September to catch teams for playoff spots before. So I'm not really writing them off just yet. I'm going to do what you were just talking about. Maybe wait until early to mid-September before I can write this team off.
All right, Chris is here on the Cardinals plus 117 here against the Twins. This one have a start time here 7:45. All right, Chris, let's go over at Pick Dog for tonight's action. Of course, football in the air right now as we start with preseason football here tomorrow. Of course, we still have 9 games on the board for Major League Baseball. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, Tony, for tonight, still got my $19 pickoff play, and that pickoff play also part of my Major League 3-pack as well. And also, these are the great times to hop on long-term. Just put up all my football packages for this year. Christmas in July is over, but still preseason specials for the football season. So make sure you guys go over to Pick Dogs Premium and take advantage of them.
Try to get on board with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. Good time to get on board with Chris's long-term passes. Of course, that 1-month pass is a good value right now. You get all of Chris's premium plays for 30 days, all his baseball, but that covers you for the remainder of the NFL preseason, right? We got NFL preseason week 1 and 2, 3. Of course, those 3 weeks of preseason plus Hall of Fame week. And of course, the first week of college football is covered in that 1 month all sports pass. So get on board. Pick as a promo code, save that 15% off. All right, Chris, as always, great having you on the show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week, but we can always catch more of you here on the channel with the live shows and, of course, your home run prop video as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, all the game previews, the morning show, the home run prop video. I love what I'm doing here at Pick Dogs. And, we still got the home run prop video. Still got a home run parlay for tonight that still has time before it goes off at the top of the hour. So once you're done here with the drive-thru, there's still time. Go check out that home run prop parlay. But make sure that you got notifications turned on so that you can be notified when all the freshest content drops here at Pick Dogs.
Fresh content is up. You get notified when you hit that subscribe button and set those notifications if you would. All right, Chris, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Sounds good, Tony. Take care.
Got it. Chris Ruffolo here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Bring up Mitch right now. Of course, you can catch Mitch here Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time here with that morning show. Also, lots of video series he produces as well here on the channel. NFL show. He's got his 7 picks in 5 minutes. That one's been very popular. You guys want to tune that one in. Mitch, what's happening?
Tony, just winding down baseball season. We're finally in the final part of the season. I think with the crazy lines that we see now in baseball for regular games, not even at the even before the All-Star break, I can only imagine what the lines are going to be now post-trade deadline, where it was always kind of acceptable to see these minus 275s and minus 300s. After the trade deadline, even minus 260s, and but not as much. But now we see these on regular games on a month into the season. I can only imagine just how tough and how slim pickings baseball is going to be. And then we also have those days where it's it's going to be running up against football on Saturdays and Sundays, and with big cards, and of course on Thursday night and Friday. So these are the points where it all comes back to the Mitch strategy of, why don't you just end the frickin' thing on Labor Day? I mean, this is what it should be, and then you run the playoffs during the week, during that, and have double days off on Saturdays and Sundays, and you run during the week. And it's like, how hard is this? Seriously, it's like I should be running the show over there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. With baseball, we get into, they call it the Fall Classic, but that's right in the middle of all the football. And of course, I think what's happened now, the popularity of college football has really, I think, has impacted the baseball season down the stretch. It wasn't as popular as before, but now college football on some weeks draws just as much handle there as NFL, because there's just much more volume games, and they've got great matchups in pretty much every time frame from morning to night.
What are people going to watch? Game 4 of the World Series or a Chiefs-Eagles rematch? On Thursday Night Football. They're gonna watch the football game.
Yeah, and baseball is becoming more and more regional. Now they'll tune into a Game 7. That's what they'll tune into.
Unless it's up against the Cowboys Eagles or Cowboys Giants on Sunday Night Football.
Right. Yep. That might be that's possible there. The Thursday night, the Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football. It doesn't give them enough time for baseball to get.
Football does not seem as popular as it once was.
Right.
Because since they moved it off of ABC, maybe to me it just isn't as popular. But to me, it's not as good as it was when it was on ABC.
Right. There isn't as many viewing. Of course, all the extra channels up there as well. A wrestling audience takes it away a little bit, not a whole lot, but there's a lot of content up now with these streaming channels. But speaking here of this Mets-Royals game, that was a wild game last night, man. If you're a Mets fan, really got to be feeling it here. And then, of course, was it Scherzer saying, well, the 2024 is also a throwaway year. So not some cool comments there from the Mets side organization. Mets favorite big here against the Royals, total of 9.
Yeah, I just think that this is just one of those beautiful things when you look overall at the season and you say, oh, the Royals are terrible and all that stuff. But actually, the Mets are more terrible, because when you look at just the last 90 days of baseball, actually, if you bet on the Royals and the Mets every single game, you've lost more money on the Mets. If we go back to the last 30 days, we do the same scenario. Well, it is pretty much the same scenario. The Mets, a worse place for your money to be. And I got to say, even over the last week, because the Royals have won 4 games in a row at this point, the Red Hot Royals. Even the A's at that one point won 10 games in a row at one point over the season. So It happens. Now, the beauty of what's, if you hate the Mets and you hate Buck Showalter as much as I do, I'm not really like a Met hater, but I'm a Buck Showalter hater. And I just think that this guy is just the worst thing that could happen to a baseball team. The Mets are in a really, really bad spot. And I think they were able to bail themselves out. I know that they took some criticism dealing Scherzer and Verlander, but that was the best thing that could have happened because those were two of the biggest mistakes is free agency signing. Of course, they're two great pitchers, but it's clear that their best days are behind them. The Mets really needed some young guns in there to really run the show on that pitching staff. Just like a lot of the better pitching staffs in baseball is either a mix of young and old, or mostly just going young. And I think that's what's you look at the postseason teams, the teams that are in contention, the teams that are in first place, in most of the divisions. That's what they got going. Starting pitching isn't going to get you home anymore. Those days have come and gone. Starting pitching, at a best-case scenario, unless you got a guy that goes a no-hitter like we've seen a few times this season, like Framber did last night, the starting pitcher can't get you home. These bullpens are just atrocious, man. Look at what happened to Sandy last night in Miami. I mean, he couldn't have pitched any better as a starting pitcher, except maybe to do what Framber did. And, if they leave him in, maybe he goes the distance and shuts them out, but he didn't even get the opportunity to do that. Dave Robertson, who's got that Met pedigree on him, comes in and blows the game. And I think, we look at these starting pitchers and just so much is put on them as far as odds. It's a joke. I say it all week and I say it all year and I've said it all season. This year, starting pitcher is the most meaningless thing in all of baseball handicapping. And when you look at the records, of these guys and laying this big juice because of a starting pitcher, it's some of the worst betting strategy I've seen ever. I mean, I could tell you right now, my premium picks, I'm 48% this year. I fade these big numbers, these big pitchers, every single game. And I've hit 48% of my games on plus money for the season in baseball. So that is the living proof of it, And I tell you what, I probably missed out on some really good opportunities as well. But I'm not going to miss fading the Mets anymore because Buck Showalter can manage it right into a game. It doesn't get any better than last night's game as a prime example, right? The Royals have the lead for most of the game. The Mets managed to get to the lead at the end of the game. The Royals tie it up. You get to extra innings. Then the Mets take a 6-4 lead. The Royals tie the game up at 6, load the bases. Pitching change, before the guy ever throws a pitch, balks in the winning run for the Royals. At a nice price, and I think this is just the mess that is the New York Mets. Like I said, getting rid of Scherzer and Verlander, I thought was a great move for them to shed those guys, not lean on them. Oh, we lost our reliever, our closer for the season. Big deal, You guys stink, and it's because your manager's hideous. A good manager is worth 10 wins a year. A bad manager is probably worth 20 losses, and I think Buck Showalter's lost 50. I mean, he just stinks. And the worst thing for the Mets, he won the Manager of the Year last year in the National League. So are you married to this guy because he was Manager of the Year last year? In the NFL, clearly that's not the case. Coach of the Year the prior year, Super Bowl, Super Bowl champion. Ask Doug Peterson how far that gets you. Yeah. I think that we know that. And I think that, in baseball, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Buck Showalter because I'll tell you this much. I say it in all my videos. I say it every single morning on the morning show. I've never managed a baseball team. I played Little League. I've never managed a Little League team. I played Little League. I played high school baseball, right? It wasn't a sport that I played like my whole youth or anything, but I signed up for baseball in high school and I made the team, the varsity team. But I'll tell you one thing. I was far from a manager. I was suspended for smoking. Basically what I was on the varsity baseball team. But one thing that we know is that no matter what, I can still manage the Mets better than Buck Showalter. I could do with what he has to work with. Give me Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, those pitchers that they have and all those other players, I could do a better job than he does. I know it.
There we go. Mitch here on
taking the Royals. 5 in a row.
5 in a row. There we go. Royals are looking for another bullpen blow-up. Senga has been a pretty good story, but he's only going about 5 2/3 in his average starts, 11-18 record behind him.
Are you going to pay up those kind of odds for a guy that goes 5 innings of a game when you have this manager to get you home out of the bullpen. I mean, you got to remember who's driving the ship there and moving the chess pieces. Because you have a guy pitching 5 innings, you could have a 4-run lead. That ain't going to get you home. You know, you got to have a guy that's managing, getting guys moving in and out. I mean, you see the Marlins, they put this puck in there. I mean, what are you doing? You know, it's like some of these managerial moves, they make no sense, whatever. But Buck Showalter, I can tell you what, I love him. We have the new Buck Showalter symbol on the morning show. It's this, you know, and it's like, I'll tell you, it's the Buck Showalter. It's like you see the Japanese tourist taking the picture. It's like, why are they doing the Buck Showalter symbol? You know, it's like, I love you, Buck. I love you.
There we go, Mitch here. Mets against losing teams this year, minus 11.5 units on the road. By the way, losing teams on the road.
They are a losing team.
Yeah.
They're a losing team. They
Yeah.
get treated like they're not. They get treated by the books like they're not a losing team or something. They suck ass. I mean, they are, as they say in the YouTube comments, straight ass trash can. That is what they are, man.
There you go, Mitch here.
I mean, look at the payroll of this team.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. You know, it is absurd. 2023, number 1 payroll team in baseball. New York Mets, $344,263,000. Oh man, for this crap? Seriously, man, $344 million. You know how many? You know what that is? That's $75 million more than the second biggest payroll in all of baseball. That's how bad it is. That's how hideous this team is.
Mitch here on the Royals here, plus
41
148
million on the injured reserve. Only,
yeah.
They have 41 million on the injured reserve. They're still the highest paid.
Yeah.
Still the highest paid.
They're
still into Scherzer for 15 mil.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the Bobby Bonilla list.
Mitch here on the Royals
Bobby,
here.
Max. It's like,
Oh man,
Mitch.
Mitch. Well, Bobby Valentine's still in there. He's doing the Angels pregame show.
You know what? I bet you he's still on the payroll.
You know, Bobby Bell still out doing the Angel pregame. Mitch here on the Royals here, plus 148 as we do here on the shows here on Wednesdays, and we'll go over some of the scores with Mitch. Angels and Braves. Well, this dog didn't make it today. Braves big winners, 12-5.
Yeah, it was the Lucas Giolito show. So the Mets actually have a disgusting, I think 140, 50, 60, 80, 100, 111, 120, 30, 40, about 150 million in retained salaries of guys that aren't even on the team. Gary Sanchez has got a paycheck from the Mets. David Robertson, Tommy Pham, Chris Flexen's getting paid by the Mets. Darren Roof, $3.25 million. Darren Roof, retained salary. David Robertson, Eduardo Escobar makes $9.1 million from the Mets. 34 years old, out of baseball. Congratulations. James McCann, $9,304,000 from the Mets in retained salary. Robinson Cano.
Oh.
Listen to this one. Listen to this gem. I mean, who's running the ship over here? $20,250,000, man. I mean, they cut him. He was batting like 138,
Yep.
man. They ran him out of time. They're still paying him $20.25 million a year. Wow. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
There you go.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Right. All right.
I know.
I'm
It's bored, man. This is like I bought 4 waters, a beer, or a drink for Tony Brown, and a Coke at T-Mobile Arena. What do you think that cost me?
60
4 waters, $76.
$76.
I mean, shamelessly. That'll be
God.
$76.
Yeah.
Would you like to add a tip?
That was the number one gross revenue arena in all the world last year. Was I'm sorry, not T-Mobile. It was a Raiders station, Raiders stadium. That was not T-Mobile.
Well, I mean, $76.
Yeah.
for 6 drinks, and 4 of them were waters. And they're not like the jumbo waters; they're just the regular size, 16-ounce. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's insane.
Not Fiji water, nothing like that.
Oh. All right, Mitch, here we go. Angels, Braves. Braves get the win 12-5. Just, again, home runs power them early.
I don't understand how acquiring Lucas Giolito is making a pennant run. I don't even understand the strategy there. I'm a White Sox fan. I never believed in this guy. It's like, you think the Nationals are going to trade Dane Dunning and Giolito and Lopez and all these guys for Adam Eaton if he's worth a crap? It's like, they knew it. And so Giolito has had one good season. He's basically like a poor man's Gausman, All
right,
he's hideous. The Braves were just hitting the crap out of the ball, too.
Yeah, big win over the total there, 9.5.
He always seems to, it's always weird when the guys look surprised that the ball's left the ballpark. It's like you floated a curveball right over the middle of the plate. I mean, the guy is probably one, to Ronald Acuna Jr. or Ozuna or Albies. It's like, or Olsen. It's like, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, bad locations indeed. We've got continue on here. Tigers get the win here as favorites here, 6-3 against the Pirates.
Eduardo Rodriguez would rather stay in Detroit than go to L.A. I'd rather stay in Detroit than go in L.A. It's Jay Briggs is like, he didn't want to go under the microscope of being on the Dodgers. I'm like, it's Detroit versus L.A. It's like,
in the free agent year, so that the teams are going to take note of that. They're going to take note.
But Rodriguez, they weren't on his list, so that's on the Tigers. He had a 10-team list, right? So it's like they weren't on the list, and that's on them. When a guy has a list, you work within the list, or you clear that ahead of time.
Brewers and Nats. Nats come home here again, 3-2 against the Brewers.
Kenzie Gore invented the internet. He also beat the Brewers today. It's a pretty strong performance out of him. The Brewers, them and the Reds have been battling it out. It's the Reds are now in the lead in that division, but look at the Brewers head-to-head against the Reds in that division. The Brewers now in that wild card race in the National League where you don't want to be. You do not want to be in that National League wild card race. In fact, you don't want to be in that American League wild card race either. It's like 6 teams for 3 spots, and the National, like with the Padres winning today, is now like 7 teams for 3 spots.
Guardians and Astros, good win here. Astros get the win 3-2.
The Astros left 147 men on base in one baseball game, and that happened today. Coming off of Framber Valdez's no-hitter last night, generally, teams underperform when that happens, the game after a no-hitter. But Astros, they're just a different team with Altuve and Alvarez, but Altuve didn't even play today. So the Astros left a lot of guys on base today. I don't know how many it was total, but it felt like 100. I mean, it really did. I have a tendency to get a little carried away sometimes.
Padres and Rockies. Padres big winners this afternoon. 11-1 stays under 12.5.
Yeah, the Padres played extremely well in that game, and now they're just a few games out of the wild card, just a few games under 500. They said they wanted to stand pat and contend, But once again, they have a lot of the same issues that teams that far back and that many teams. It's not that they're that far back; there's that much traffic in front of them. Anytime that they lose over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, every time they lose, they're going to be losing ground on a lot of teams. So it's like you really got to string wins together, and I don't think they got the pitching staff to get them home. I just do not think they have it. And I know they acquired Rich Hill, which is a big, ad for him. Not quite, Scherzer or Verlander, but it's kind of like a 1A.
Now Musgrove had some shoulder issues. Had to miss his start today with that shoulder issues. We'll keep an eye on Musgrove. Nick Martinez having to get the start today in this one. This one has gotten away from Seattle, from Boston. Now 6-3. They pushed across another on an infield grounder. They cannot get the runner out at home. 6-3. Seattle with a big 7th inning here.
The Mariners are right in the thick of things, and kind of they're my Memphis Grizzlies of the Major League Baseball. They hang around 500, and now they've kind of cracked through a little bit. So they're a dangerous team right now. They have one of the best young pitching staffs in all of baseball. Castillo, Gilbert, Wu, Kirby, Miller. 5 deep on the pitching staff. Makes Marco Gonzalez the forgotten man. You would forget he was even on the team. I mean, he's been there for so long, But the thing is that look at that pitching staff, and I don't think there's one guy over 17 years old in the whole group. Maybe Castillo is the big veteran of it, but outside of that, the rest of them are all about 20 max.
Boston continue to having their struggles on the road. Run production an issue there as Seattle with the big 7th inning. We now go to the bottom. We now go to the top of the 8th in this one. Seattle now up 6-3 in this one, and that takes us to the top of the hour. All right, Mitch, want everybody know what's going on over at Pick Dogs Premium as we hit football season here in the preseason.
It was 11 left on base there for the Astros today. But anyways, what's going on at Pick Dogs and Pick Dogs Premium? Well, if you missed out on Christmas in July, you're in somewhat luck, but not that much luck. Of course, Christmas in July is our lowest price of the year, and once it's gone, it won't be back until next July. So too bad, so sad. But we do have a new thing where instead of having 2-for-1 capper packages, you can now go 3-for-1 capper packages, 4-for-1 capper packages, 5-for-1 capper packages, or 6-for-1 capper packages, 7-for-1 capper packages, however many capper packages you want. It rates the same discount as you continue to go up. So it's still cheaper than buying the packages individually, but it's not, it's not quite the savings like a Christmas in July or anything like that. It basically, the price stays, it's the same as a 2-for-1, like for the 3-for-1 in relation to the regular price.
Regular price, yeah.
If that makes any sense. Yeah, so we have that. Of course, we are the number 1 watched YouTube sports betting channel in the world, and we will continue to do so. We'll be cranking it up. Of course, we got our NFL show, our weekly pick show, and then we'll be doing daily shows. Our weekly pick show, Jay, myself, Al McMordie. We'll have a college football show. Last year it was Ron, Ruffolo, and myself. Not sure how it's going to work this year. We'll be doing other shows as well, and we're adding stuff, doing stuff. Never ends, We've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at Pick Dogs. I think we might miss the start of the NFL season on some of that, and I think it's okay because I think we're already kicking ass. So it's like it's nice that we, it'd be nice to have had it, but I don't think it's gonna make one shredded difference. It's one of those things that's like it will help for anyone new coming, but I think for our regular Pick Dogs family, they could care less. It's like they kind of know what we're already about. So there's 2 sides to everything. Also, we have the Dime Club, and that's for dime bettors and larger. That means it's not for everybody. Don't feel like if it's not for you, don't feel obligated to get the Dime Club or anything like that. I bet all my premium picks. Tony bets all of his premium picks. Big Al's coming on. He'll tell you the same thing. He bets all his premium picks. He stands behind his premium picks. So it's like the Dime Club picks, some of them I bet they're late-breaking information plays that don't really fit the way that we do our premium era because the picks need to be in at a certain time. So it's like, it's like if Joel Embiid isn't playing and the line moves, how are we going to bet this game or are we not going to bet this game? It's kind of stuff like that, that's involved in the Dime Club. Late-breaking information, syndicate moves, things like that.
Very good. All right, Mitch, as always, great having you on the show. Have yourself a great night. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us and for being part of our Pick Dogs family. I look forward to spending many Sunday afternoons with you guys doing halftime shows and, of course, doing tons of football this year. We're going to do more football than we've ever done before, which I don't know what that means. But
lots more shows, lots more live shows, lots more video series. There's lots and lots happening here on the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications.
It's a lot of together time. It's going to be a lot of together time.
It will be. It will be. All right, Mitch, have a good one. We'll see you next week. And see you.
Take care. Thanks to everybody who's on the show today and all the days.
Okay. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the drive-thru. Let's go ahead and bring in Big Al McMordie. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Prim. We'll bring Big Al in right now. Big Al, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome. All right, here we go. White Sox and Rangers going head-to-head tonight at 8 Eastern. Rangers big favorites here, total of 9.
Yeah, Tony, neither of these 2 teams' offenses have been in high gear lately. Chicago has now been shut out in back-to-back games. They've scored 3 runs or less in 5 of 7 games. Likewise, Texas has scored 3 runs or less in its last 4 games. So not surprisingly, each team has played their last 4 games under the total. And I do look for another low-scoring game here tonight. Dylan Cease has a 3.24 ERA over his last 3 starts. His career ERA in 5 starts versus Texas is 2.73. The White Sox have also now gone under the total 9 straight times after the previous game totaled 3 runs or less. They've also gone under the total 5 of 6 following back-to-back shutout losses. I'm going to take this under the total of 9. You might even see 8.5 out there as well.
All right, Big Al says go under the total here. Under 8.5. Let's see what we're at here on this one right now because the lines we do get movement here. 8.5. We're seeing some 9s now, Big Al, on this one too as well.
Yeah, there are some 9s. 8.5 at Circa, 8.5 at Bet Any Sport. Some 9s. So shop around for the best number.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you shop around. Big Al, especially in baseball, right? Lots of games, 15 games a day during the week. Important to get that best number.
It's always important to get that best number. Especially, in college basketball, NBA. I find, every handicapper does things differently. Mitch was just talking about the Dime Club with, late moves and late information. The way I do things, you want to get the best number in the morning. 8 a.m. is when the best numbers are often found. You don't even want to wait till, 11 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m. By then the numbers are gone.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, the numbers are gone. Of course, they're you do see these big bets before game time. Are you looking to reverse? Do you look to bet the other way? If obviously, right? If what are you shaking your head? You don't like that strategy?
I don't care. I do my own thing. I could not care less what other people are doing.
I got you.
I don't reverse. I don't double up. I just I'm getting down at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and
overnight. Yeah, well, if depends when the limits are open, or you get a small limit play overnight. If you certainly like a team, if you sometimes the line's going to move.
Well, I found that in football and basketball, the lines will go in my direction. The team I'm betting on about 75% of the time. So, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but more often than not, it's better to get down earlier for me rather than later because I consider myself a sharp, and other sharps are going to be following and doing the same things I'm going to be doing. They're just doing it later in the afternoon.
There you go, Big Al here on White Sox Rangers under 8.5, 9. Shop, get the 9. That's the best number there. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Move for tonight's action. We have baseball on the board, about 9 games on the board in the prime time. I would put the football numbers up here because football, preseason football, just a day away. What do you have going on over at Pick Dodge Premium?
I've got one baseball play today. Yesterday cashed the Rays minus 1.5 runs. I've got an MLB division game of the month today, so just one game on the card, and I'll be back in action with some stuff on Thursday as well.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dogs Premium. You can get on board with this place today, MLB Divisional Game of the Month, or the longer-term pass. That 1-month pass will get you all Big Al's Premium plays for 30 days. If he's in action, I believe he's at week 2 of the preseason. He's usually in action here. That will be covered on that 1-month pass. Also, the first week 0 of college football. You get involved right away with college football, Big Al?
Depends.
Okay.
I think there's only like 9 games in week 0 or something like that. So it all. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's in theory I could have 2 or 3 plays, or I could have 0 plays. It's who knows? I just haven't looked at it yet at all.
All right, so we get on board all the Big Al's Premium plays for 30 days on that 1-month pass. Pick us a promo code, SAVE at checkout, 15% off. All right, Big Al, as always, great having you on the show. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Tony. Talk to you on Thursday.
You got it. Big Al McMordie here on the drive through. Let's continue on now. It's time to welcome in Wayne Scott. You'll catch him over at Pick Dodge Premium. We'll bring Wayne in right now. I think we're ready to roll here. We do have some games in action, so let's bring Wayne in. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Tony T? What's going on, Pick Dog family?
Everything's going great. All right, here we go tonight. This Orioles and Blue Jays going head-to-head as the Blue Jays favored at minus 126 with a total of 8.5.
Yes, sir. We're going to go back to this total here. I was on the total yesterday. That total actually saved me from having a totally horrible losing day. But it didn't make the premier area today, but I still like it today. We're going to go with the over 8.5 in this one. We just got 2 mid-tier pitchers. They've been having some decent outings as of lately. We got Kikuchi on the mound. He's 3-2 in his last 5 to the over. He walks a lot of guys and he gives up the home run. And when you're playing a team as hot as the Orioles batting 340 in the last 5 against lefties and 272 against lefties on the road. This lineup is loaded. They've been smacking the ball, and Kikuchi is not the guy I want to see in front of this Baltimore Orioles. On the other side of that, Grayson Rodriguez, he's had some up and downs. A lot of people might think he's did pretty good in his last outing, but that was against New York, so I don't want to hold too much. I want to give him his credit. He did get the win. He did give up no runs, but if you look before that, he's a guy that also gives up a few home runs and walks a few batters. He's averaging about 2 to 3 runs per game. He's had a couple games where he got rocked. I think both of these pitchers are susceptible to get hit by both of these lineups. Blue Jays haven't been batting hot as lately, but they have crushed righties earlier in the season, and they do have the lineup to crush righties pretty much at any time. When it comes to the bullpen, both of these bullpens are hittable, and Blue Jays bullpen has definitely been getting crushed lately, and you look at their last 5 and their last 10. Orioles on the other side, they've been their bullpen has been playing better, but they're susceptible more on the road, which they are here, and I think they can have a little regression. We can get over this 8.5 pretty easily in this one.
All right, Wayne says go over his Blue Jays over 8.5 runs in this one. Kikuchi and Grayson Rodriguez. These are both the 2 pitchers that given up almost 2 home runs per 9 innings this year.
Yes, sir. As I mentioned, and as Tony just mentioned, these guys are susceptible to that home run ball. And I hope Chris got some of his home run props on this game, because these are 2 lineups that got a lot of power hitters on both sides. And yeah, definitely love this over here in this one. Walks too. One thing I noticed on a lot of them, this is a couple games where you got 2 to 3 walks pretty often with Kikuchi and Rodriguez. So
yeah, Blue Jay, and of course the Blue Jays struggled in the division, just 7-22 against the AL East, and the Orioles have had really good success against Toronto this year. Blue Jays over 8.5. This one to have a start time here, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Wayne, let's take a look over at pick.com for tonight's action. Wayne having a fantastic year in Major League Baseball, sitting among the leader this year, 1,411 units of profit for 2023. Wayne, 8 games now on the board as we got Philadelphia and Miami started. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Right now I have nothing for sale. My bet of the day is out there right now. It is the worst bet in baseball, so they say, which is the Mariners run line at home today. If I like a bet and that's what I love, that's my game of the day, because that's the bet that I love the most. And right now it's coming through. It could always backfire, as we know of. With these guys just getting 2 runs at the late inning, but I like where I'm sitting at right now. I love that them boys came back for me, and looking to continue to cash and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a big 7th inning there for Seattle, up 6-3. Runner on here, top of the 8th. So still some 2 outs though, 2 outs right now for Boston, and looks like there's something going on between the umpire and the batter. We'll see how that rolls here. We get on board with Wayne Scott over at Pick.com. Great results in baseball. You know, the best value here is that 30-day all sports pass. Get all of Wayne's premium plays for 30 days, all his baseball. The entire preseason football is covered under this 30-day all sports pass, as well as week 0 from college football. So this is the time of the year where all these sports are now starting to overlap. So those long-term passes makes it even greater value there. So go ahead and get on board with Wayne with that 1-month all sports pass and use that promo code PICK at checkout. You will save 15% off on your purchase. And we get out of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th now. So 3 outs away from Wayne cashing that Seattle run line. We'll keep an eye on that. Have a great night, Wayne. Don't need to kick the desk yet. We'll talk with you again tomorrow.
Hey man, I love that baseball, man. It's just crazy. About 20 minutes ago, I had the ugly face going on, but I'm glad these guys definitely bringing the bats here against this Boston bullpen. We've known the Boston bullpen to blow up sometimes, and they haven't been recently, but they show you they can still go back to old ways some games. Yeah,
little luck happened as well. That broken bat ground ball, and of course the shortstop and third baseman collided on that play. It really opened it up for Seattle. All right, Wayne, we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Tony T. I'll holler at you, Pete Dog fam.
You got it. Wayne Scott here on the drive through. Let's continue on. Guys, if you missed a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive through. Up next, Ron Zawacky catch him over at Pick Dodge Premium. This pick, well, he's been covering this game, I think, for every so far during this series for us here on the drive-thru. So let's bring Rod in right now. Rod, what's happening?
Not too much. Enjoying this nice Wednesday, some day baseball, and definitely let's try to get another winner again, our third straight here on the drive-thru for these nice fine folks.
Let's do it indeed. Yankees and Rays going back at it tonight. Pretty good pitching matchup scheduled. Yankees favored -117, total 7.5.
Yeah, we're looking at this one. We're going to go a different way. We took the Rays yesterday, but we're going to go with the over here in this one. I think the 7.5 is a touch low. Shane McClanahan's getting the start here, and sure, that's why the total's low. These two starting pitchers go in here, Shane McClanahan. But you look at Shane McClanahan, he hasn't been pitching lights out his last few starts. He's definitely been giving up a few runs. You look his last 5 starts, he gave up 3 runs last time out against the Astros. 5 runs last time out previously before the Astros was Baltimore. 2 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs. So he's definitely been giving up a few runs over his last 5. On the other side of the mound, you got Garrett Cole on the mound. And you know what? Last time he was out, he gave up no runs. And he equated to a loss for the Yankees on that one. But that was the first time in a few games that he hasn't allowed at least a run. The 3 previous before the last time where he only gave up none, he gave up 3 home runs in each of those games. So just do runs come in this game? I think we're going to get a few runs off these starting pitchers. And then when it comes to the bullpens, you look at the Rays bullpen, we've seen them implode like Boston has today. Definitely seen them implode a few times. And this Yankees bullpen, it's been good and solid, but they average about 3 runs this year. And we only got to get 8 runs in this one. You look at the Rays, they're averaging 5.4 runs a game. Yankees average about 4 runs a game. I think we can get to 8 or 9 in this one. You look at the 9 meetings this season between these two teams, 6-3 to that over. I'm going to take the over 7.5 is the way to go in this one. That's only the Rays to beat them again, but let's take the over as the play here.
All right, Rod says go over 7.5 here. Rays and Yankees. Of course, these division foes face off a lot. As a matter of fact, Cole in his 2 starts against Tampa Bay, giving up 8 runs and 4 homers, Rod, in 10 innings.
Right, that's what I said. If you looked at his last outing, sure, he pitched great, pitched a gem, but he hasn't done that so well. He usually gives up at least a run and gives up a home run. He's definitely been rolling around the 3 before that. He was a home run a game guy. So can he get a couple here? I think so. And then you look at McClanahan on the other side, and his walk numbers, you look at last year, his Cy Young numbers were great, but his walking is increased. He's increasing his walk. His strikeout totals are down from what they were last year as well. So he's been putting some guys on, so I think both teams can get some runs, and we get nicely up and over the 7.5.
All right, Rod here, Rays, Yankees over 7.5 runs. Of course, we'll fit in a peripheral pick here tonight. We have the Wings and Storm going head-to-head, Rod, in WNBA with the Wings favor on the road, 6.5. We see a total about 167.5.
Yeah, I mean, look at this one, this WNBA game here in this one. I like this Dallas Wings team. They're starting to get healthy and turn things up. The Seattle team, definitely, I'm not a fan of. But this Wings team, if you look, they've started to turn things on and get some wins. They even got a nice upset win for us as a dog there as well. They're favored here for good reason. Last time out, Seattle did get the win, but so this is a nice revenge spot for the Wings. And you look at the Wings, 5-1 ATS in their last 6 versus the Western Conference. And so Seattle, the Storm do play the best at home, but the Wings in Seattle, they love to come and play in Seattle. 5-1 ATS the last 6 trips into Seattle, and the Wings are also 7-3 ATS the last 10. Lay the points. Favorite covers tonight.
Lay the points, this Rod, in this Wings and Storm battle. And this one will have a start time 10:30 Eastern Time. CBS Sports Network will air that one. Of course, the baseball pick tonight, Rays and Yankees over 7.5. All right, Rod, let's take a look over at Pick Dog for nice action. 8 games still on the board for Major League Baseball, with also that WNBA game we talked about. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I know over at Pick Dogs Premium, I still got my 10-star play of the day. Play I absolutely love. Top-rated play I got going. We've hit 40 out of the last 63 on it. You can scoop it up $19 over at Pick Dogs Premium. Or now's the time to grab a long-term pass, grab a week, grab a month, grab a year, or even grab my hockey preseason pass. VIP year, reduced rate, so everybody can get everything I got going over there. So even though Christmas in July has passed us right on by, there's still plenty of opportunity to get some nice long-term packages heading to the prime time of sports. Heating up. NFL's coming. Here comes college football. Follow right that up with some NBA. This NHL right behind it. And then college hoops. I'm getting excited. That time it really love sports.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Rod Zawacky over at Pick Document. Past 24 hours showing some good profit. 200 units of profit, so get on board with Rod. Play the day at $19 premium is up on the board. But again, that 1 month pass is a great value right now. Get off Rod's premium plays here for 30 days. All his baseball includes the entire NFL preseason, as well as week 0 college football in your 1 month pass. Pick it's a promo code. Save that 15% off. Add a second or a third or a fourth candy capper with that 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 capper promotion, whichever one you choose, for even greater value. So I'm going to have to work on that one. I think we all have to work on that one, Rod.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to work on that one. We all got the 2 for 1 capper deal down, and now we're going to, it's like the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
Yes.
capper deal. How many ever you would like?
That's right. We'll have to do a little work. We'll be ready by football. So all these new promotions coming in. We will. All right, Rod. Enjoy your Thursday off from the show. We'll catch up with you Steak Friday.
Definitely. Have yourself a good one. We'll catch everybody on Steak Friday.
You got it. Rod Zawacky here on the Drive Thru. Guys, if you missed a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, we'll continue on here on the Drive Thru. We're going to go ahead and bring in Dana Lane here in a second. We're going to get you some more coverage here from Major League Baseball tonight. So we're just going to get the game set up here for you as we go out to the West Coast here for this game with Dana. So let's get him in right now from hot Las Vegas, Nevada. I know Mitch was there last week, 100 in the teens, maybe the 120s. It's hot. Dana, what's happening?
Yeah, it is hot. Although we did get quite a bit of rain yesterday, so that was nice. And we're in what they call monsoon season, so that lasts about 3.5 weeks. So we're going to get rain. This is the time of year we'll get it. But other than that, it's pretty hot, and then it becomes muggy. So
oh, that's right.
It's well, I always tell people, people always say, well, how can you deal with the heat? And I always say, well, I think of you shoveling snow for 5 months. So that's how I deal with the heat.
There you go. All right, Dana, here we go tonight. Out West, Dodgers and Athletics going head-to-head. We see that big line on the Dodgers. We see a total 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, really the handicap just ends with me saying Oakland A's at the Los Angeles Dodgers, but I guess we got to go further than that. We see that Hogan Harris is going to get the start. Now he's a guy that has pitched, been bounced around between AAA and Major League Baseball this year. Has been up and down 3 times between Las Vegas and Oakland, and honestly, I mean, he's been fine as a starting pitcher. In fact, he's got 3 quality starts. I guess he's just as good as anybody else on the staff, and he'll be facing Tony Gonsolin, who's had more than his share of troubles this year. Probably still trying to get over a sprained ankle that he had in the spring training. Just has not been the same, but. Keep in mind, too, I mean, last year he was a guy that we argued a little bit about whether or not he was going to start in the All-Star game in Los Angeles. So he has not had the numbers he did last year, but still a quality starter for sure. So as far as this is concerned, anytime I can get a quality number, even if I have to give up 1.5 with the Dodgers against the Oakland A's, I'm certainly going to do that. Now, I know bettors jumped all over Oakland. They were getting plus 260 at some spots. I guess it's down to around 220 right now. And I guess the thinking was that, hey, look, it's too good of a number to pass up. And I get that thinking, but I don't want to have my money on a team that I'm banking on that has to play above their capabilities. And now that we're into August, I mean, we know exactly what this team is. So do you ever want your money on the Oakland Athletics? And the answer is simply no. Oakland is 2-10 when Harris has pitched. They has not, in any way, whether he comes out of the bullpen or starts, they have not had a victory when Harris has pitched since the 13th of June, a game that he started. That's over a month and a half. There's absolutely nothing about this that makes me want to take the Oakland A's, a team that is last in ERA and first in runs allowed, which is never a good formula. So we're going to take the Los Angeles Dodgers -1.5, give up a little bit of a juice, but they're going to absolutely crush Oakland. And one thing too, Tony, that I always like to play at this time of year, right after the trade deadline. If you don't think, and I know for a fact, some of these teams that are the bottom feeders of the league, the one thing that they kind of feed off the last month before the trade deadline is, hey, maybe I'll get moved to a contender. So I'm really going to buckle down and I'm going to play well. Well, it's the days after the trade deadline, 3 or 4 days after the trade deadline, when when the sand kind of is still, and everybody that's currently on the team is like, man, this is the way it's going to be for the next 2 months. I really wanted to get out of here. I think their level of play goes down a little bit, even if it could go down even further. And I know Mark Kotze continuously talks about how this team is playing with confidence, and we're very happy the direction we're moving in. And I guess if you're playing 333 baseball since the beginning of July, I guess that is a positive over 278, 279 baseball that the A's have played all year long. I just think this is a bad situation, and Tony Gonsolin really needs to start to right the ship, and I couldn't think of a better team to do that against than the Oakland A's.
All right, Dana here on the Dodgers run on late, the run and a half, -135, -120. Do your line shopping, get the best numbers. And of course, yeah, and also you're looking at a bullpen for Athletics. We saw the Dodgers really get runs here on both starter and bullpen. Their ERA over 6 on the road.
Yeah, the worst bullpen in baseball. So even if they don't get a good starting effort, and I'm looking probably about 4 or 5 innings, and then you give it over to a bullpen that's the worst in baseball. And the one thing that people have pointed out today that I've talked to that said, well, there's an angle that we like to play quite a bit, and it's betting against teams that haven't seen the opposing pitcher. And if you look up and down the Oakland A's line, or if you look up and down the Oakland A's lineup, switch that around. Dodgers. Of course, nobody on the Dodgers has seen Harris before. Nobody. So that's a true point. But if you flip that over, Tyler Wade's the only one that has faced Gonsolin too, even though obviously there's more major league tape on Gonsolin than Harris. But outside of Tyler Wade, who had 1 at bat last year, this is also a team that hasn't faced Gonsolin in a live situation either. So I think that although I do understand that point, which is why we see a lot of rookies come up and have success, I do understand that point. I also will throw out the fact that Oakland hasn't had a lot of experience against Gonsolin either. And in fact, I know it's very easy to find these out, Tony, but there isn't one aspect of this game that makes me even start to think about taking the Oakland A's. And I think, anybody who goes with Oakland is just crossing their fingers. And I just don't like to put my money behind teams that I have to cross my fingers with.
All right, Dodgers run on the run and a half, -135 against the A's. This one starts 10:10 Eastern time. All right, Dan, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. We have 8 games on the board for Major League Baseball. What do you have going over at the site?
Yeah, 1 game left. I, too, am waiting on Seattle. I was not bold enough to lay the 1.5, but I have Seattle, and then we have Philadelphia, Miami. That is, the first pitch is gone 20 minutes ago. So 1 game left on the card. Arizona, San Francisco is my late get-out game, which you can jump on right now. Big four-game card today. Never usually have 4 games, but felt confident about them. And, of course, now where Seattle comes through, we're on a 5-game winning streak and trying to get back into that extreme hot streak that we had earlier on in the year. And, of course, Hall of Fame game tomorrow night, both side and total, is up on pickdogs.com right now.
That's right, guys. Got a board with Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. Actually, probably off a really good day. Your last 24 hours, 360 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs. So get on board with Dana. His play up here tonight from that late night game tonight, also Hall of Fame game. But instead of buying the plays individually, that 1-month all sports pass at great value. Get all of Dana's premium plays here for 30 days. That includes all his baseball for 30 days. The entire NFL preseason is covered in that 30 days. Also, week 0 college football. This is the time to take advantage of these long-term passes with all these sports are now finally overlapping. It's been a long time since we said that. So we're now hitting football season. And, of course, then before you know it, hockey will be here. I think they go into training camps in September. So This year's moving fast. So get on board with Dana's 30-day All Sports Pass. All right, Dana, have a great week. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony, all the best to you. Thank you.
You got Dana Lane here on the drive through. All right, guys, reminder, if you missed a pick, we're going to recap. Actually, we're going to go right to the recap, and then I'll give you an explanation on my pick. Let's continue on here. I don't know what Siri's talking to me for some reason. I don't know why Siri's talking to me. But anyway, let's continue on here on the drive through. Let's get to the recap, and then I'll explain the data on my pick here. So let's go ahead and bring up the recap, and we got it rolling here. All right, Chris was on the Cardinals plus the 117 against the Twins. Mitch like Royals plus 148 against the Mets. Big Al, White Sox, Rangers under 8.5. Wayne was Orioles, Blue Jays over 8.5. Rod was on the Yankees and Rays over 7.5. Dana here was on Dodgers run line, lay the run at half, minus 135 against the A's. And I will be on the D-backs plus 154 against the Giants. The one I like the most here, that's a good question. Which one do I like the most out of these plays? I will say here, let's see. Boy, that Met game, that one there with that White Sox and Rangers game going under. I think that's what I'll be looking at there. With Cease on the hill, very low home run rate. Dunning has always been a sharp pitcher at home, and he's at home in this spot, so I'll go there. I'll tail with McMordie with the under 8.5 White Sox and Rangers. All right. Of course, my pick is going to be here on the D-backs here, plus 154 here against the Giants. And part of it has to do with just the Giants slump at the plate. When you look here in this Arizona game, we got Logan Webb on the mound. He's put up some solid numbers. We're getting the Slade Ciccone to start for Arizona. He was drafted in 2022. Drafted in 2020. Spent 2022 in minor league AA. Pretty good results. Got hit up a little bit in AAA, but he did strike out 104 batters and 103 innings. Goes about 5 innings per start in AAA this year. Logan Webb, as we know, is going to go up there. But when you look at the Giants' past 7 games, they're just hitting 215, averaging 3.3 runs a game. And Webb in his past 2 starts allowed 9 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings. So based on that data there, the Giants hitting and Webb's issues with his form over the past 2 starts in this divisional game, I think it's worth taking a stab here on the D-backs plus 154 against the Giants. So this one will start here tonight at, let's see here, we've got this one set up here. Let's see, what time does it start here? It's going to be before this game, right? Here we go. This one will start here 9:45 Eastern time, so we're on the D-backs. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru, guys. Make sure you tune in again tomorrow live here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring in our cappers here from Big Dogs and Sports Chat Place. We'll bring in and we'll have them all here to give you the live picks here for the games on Thursday. Don't forget to always get started with that morning show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time during the week. You got Mitch, you got Chris, you got Jay with the morning show. Mitch's 7 picks in 5 minutes. Bane Tool show, his professional roundtable show as well. Chris has his home run props video for you as well. Of course, don't forget Brad Francis with his parlay video. We got Mike Davis live show as well as his parlay pick for you. First 5 innings in there as well. And of course, Ron Romanelli, Major League Baseball rundown, pick from every game from Major League Baseball. Lots of content, guys, here on the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications. So when you're live with us. Get the best plays in real time. And of course, don't forget Mills with his UFC rundown. That's been a very popular video series here as well. Live show with the NFL show with Jay and Mitch as well. So lots of content. All right, that's going to do it for the show tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Let's bring in our cappers tonight. We're going to go ahead and bring them in tonight. Wait, goodbye, guys. You guys have a great afternoon, evening, and we'll catch up with you again here tomorrow.